Hey nerds, Happy New Year's and welcome to another episode of the Brief Nerdity podcast. I'm your host again, Trent. Joining me as always is Ryan,
Hey guys and gals.
and coming back to join us again is Nick.
Hey, gals and guys.
Ooh, how's everybody doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great.
I'm doing fantastic.
I had another long weekend. It was fun. How are you?
The weekend was a little bit too long, I would say. No, not really. Could never
It's like
have too long of a weekend.
it's like how dare you?
It's really busy though.
What you been up to?
Well, you remember me talking about my computer parts that I had gotten, including my new 980 Ti. Rather than just putting it in my current computer and doing SLI, I decided to build a whole new computer with it, and that computer now resides in my living room. So I have a separate living room gaming PC now.
Nice. The gaming/media PC
Yep.
or
Yep.
very cool. Awesome. What have you been up to, Nick?
I'm just looking over the notes for this one playthrough of Undertale that I did about a month ago, and just trying to cut it all together and figure out if I want to make it like a short video or a long video. But it's like 11 hours of footage, and a lot of it is me just like taking breaks and on my computer. Like it's like a 6 to 8 hour game, but I stretched it like 12 somehow.
Oh wow.
Are you like everyone else and think it's the second coming of Christ as far as video games go?
I think it's original and quirky, but it's okay.
Those are good things.
But I mean, it's indie games. Woo!
Yeah.
It's like you play indie games, you never know what you're gonna get.
It's so quirky. And that makes it fun, apparently. Sorry, I'm not a fan.
That's okay. I play lots of early access games, which are probably worse than quote unquote indie games, and that hey, come buy this unfinished game so that we can, maybe finish it.
Well, I would say Undertale is a well put together game, but it was too self aware, and for me, it just felt like it was trying too hard to be quirky and meta about the whole thing, and just the cult following it's gotten since is just magnified its mehness to me. Kind of like how like the movie Avatar from 2009, like it was a very meh movie, but then
You're fired.
broke #1 box office records, and people like were killing themselves because they could never live on Pandora. And I'm just like, really? It was a very less than mediocre movie with decent special effects. And
Whatever, man. It's the best remake of Dances with Wolves I've ever seen.
I was thinking Pocahontas, maybe even Fern
Fern
Gully.
Gully. Yes, it's all three.
I think with Undertale, it has a lot of it creates a well-told story with like tons of like little Easter eggs and stuff for that niche audience that likes learning more about the characters, and I guess just kind of showing character depth. That's what I got from it. The game itself was kind of basic, but it kind of reminded me of you play those like spaceship games like R-Type. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I played
like games where you just move something and like lots of shit is coming at you, and you just gotta have to. Sorry.
They call it bullet hell games.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what that genre is. I think not officially called, but are called bullet hell games.
Oh shoot. But yeah, it reminded me of that. So I thought that was like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but it's nothing special. I mean, it's not terribly deep gameplay wise, but it's an indie game, and it was made by one guy, so I guess props to him.
Yeah, good on him. And we could both agree that the music was great.
I'm looking at the Steam page right now. It looks interesting.
It's a fun. I think you would enjoy Trent.
I don't think he would.
You gotta give into the silliness.
I can't believe you haven't really heard of it because no one could stop talking about it last year around this exact
It
same
had a
time.
big
It was.
Tumblr boost because the artwork people would come up with.
Mhm.
It would get
People would make their top 10 games of 2015, and then like I don't remember when it came out, but it came out like I think at the end of the year, or it became really popular.
September 15th of 2015.
Okay, but I think it got really popular toward the end of the year. People would amend their top 10 lists like after they published them and be like, "Oh, just kidding, Undertale's number one," kind of thing. It was really annoying. But
Well, anyway, I think we have to talk about probably the week's biggest news that I'm really sad about, just to get it out of the way. So last week, obviously, we recorded our podcast Monday night. This news happened Tuesday morning, and that is that Carrie Fisher passed away. And I'm very sad.
Beep.
I'm very sad.
It was. You guys all might recall that I said I was going to be seeing Rogue One Tuesday night, and that was the day that Carrie Fisher passed away, and so I just have to say I was not prepared to. Spoiler alert for the end of Rogue One. I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, but when Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, shows up at the end of the movie, I wasn't prepared just to see her. I mean, I guess I knew it was coming, but I wasn't prepared for the emotional response it would give me, seeing her character on screen the day of her passing, and her giving a small speech, would say, not even really speech, but just about hope.
Yeah, line.
And the line. There we go. That's what I was looking for. But her line about hope, and I didn't cry the first time I saw Rogue One, but I definitely cried that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw both my viewings before the news, so it's been kind of hard. I mean, obviously by this point everyone has talked about it, so we don't want to dwell on it too long. What we did was just kind of acknowledge that it happened. Do you have any thoughts about it, Nick?
I couldn't believe it at first. It's like, and before that, George Michael that died on Christmas, and it was like one after another, and it was it seemed unreal at that point when I heard Carrie Fisher. So it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to mention something, Nick. You were with me back in 2010 when we went to Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. Do you remember how quote unquote weird Carrie Fisher was being during their panel?
There was a couple of awkward moments, but
yeah, I actually went back and listened to that panel strangely this week because that was kind of the first time I had really, I guess, seen Carrie Fisher be Carrie Fisher. I guess at that time I hadn't really seen any interviews with her, or I've only seen her acting in things like Star Wars and other things. I hadn't really seen her be herself, and I don't know how much you remember, but we were all kind of taken aback by her personality because I would say that some of the moments were awkward, but I think it's what it needed because I think between Jon Stewart, who was hosting the panel, and George and Mark, things were kind of getting a little too serious. I mean, even Jon Stewart was kind of being really serious and talking very serious. So then she comes out and she's like, George, you're always updating your movies with all these special editions. When are you going to put in that deleted porno scene with me and Jabba back in? And then she's laying down on the couch, on top of Mark, doing her poses as Princess Leia when she's laying down with Jabba, and stuff like that. And yeah, she was just a fun personality, and I really appreciate her more. Now I guess know her more here 6 years later. But yeah, I'll never forget just me seeing her as Carrie for the first time, and how much fun and lightness she brought to that panel and those interviews. So that was just something that stuck out to me.
Yeah, I didn't know much about her beyond Princess Leia until actually the Force Awakens interviews started happening in the press for that, And I remember there's that famous kind of like either Good Morning America or like CBS This Morning or whatever, one of the morning shows she did an interview
Yeah.
where she basically just like roasted the interviewer for being like this beautiful blonde, bombshell or whatever, and asking her about losing weight for her role and just the interplay. I mean, she didn't like insult her, but it was just like hilarious that she's like, yeah, I think it's a stupid topic, but we'll talk about it. Oh, it's just like her like I don't know, her sense of humor was just fantastic.
Did you have something to say, Nick?
Um,
I just felt like I cut you off, so sorry.
I forgot. Well, dang. Well, I've known her as Leia and a bunch of other little roles over the years, and like she was just a really cool. She just seemed like a really cool person, and I wish she. Yeah, it's really sad that it happened.
Yeah.
Kind of on a lighter note, I guess that's kind of morbid, but you guys are probably going to get a kick out of this, if not boo me to death. But I didn't know who George Michael was. And before I heard news of George Michael's death, all I saw were the GIFs that were all over Reddit of Michael Cera
Oh no.
from Arrested Development, because his character's name is George Michael. And so I was just like, I didn't think Michael Cera died because people were obviously saying like George Michael in the captions and stuff like that. But and then just it's like what's happening? Why are all these gifs of Michael Cera, George Michael happening? And then I was like, oh, okay, George Michael was a singer. And then people were like, oh, he sang this song. That's I'm like, oh, okay, I know that guy. And then or at least I know his work. I guess you guys didn't find that funny and or boo worthy. So
I thought it was funny. I just was waiting for you to finish.
I George Michael. He's amazing. He's done a lot for music.
I've never
not as
seen
much as
Arrested Development.
Nickelback, but
Oh, no, that's gonna get you a groan.
Don't even compare.
I love how you guys even knew I was kidding, but you
I
couldn't.
just can't help it. The only thing I've ever seen that I liked with Nickelback was that fan-made Star Wars video that you made.
Good times.
Good stuff.
That was like the very first video I edited when I was trying to teach myself. That's not Nickelback.
That's George Michael. Careless Whisper.
I know.
All right. So moving beyond sad news, let's get back to happy, upbeat.
Oh wait, I remember what I was gonna say.
Go for it.
You guys should watch the SNL opening with Carrie Fisher. It's pretty funny.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that one yet. I will have to go do that.
Wasn't that when SNL was just kind of just starting? You talk about one of the earlier ones, or was there a later?
It's an earlier one, but they're already a little established at that point, just a little bit.
Gotcha. Wasn't she in like a 30 Rock episode?
Yeah,
or something like
she
that.
was in an episode where she played the man. You guys don't watch 30 Rock, right?
No, unfortunately not.
Do not.
Well, you don't really have to get the series because you can kind of watch it standalone. Like it has Tracy Morgan, Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, all those actors, and they do a pretty good job. So if you just wanted to watch one episode, check out that Carrie Fisher one because she does a pretty cool, cool role. It's a pretty cool episode all around.
Nice.
Very cool. Alrighty. So moving beyond celebrity deaths and the sadness therein, I found out after the fact that apparently I cut off Ryan while he was explaining his worst games of 2016. And I would
talk about the Telltale games, and you're like, so changing topics. I was like, okay.
I'm great at cutting people off and moving on.
You're the host, so I will follow.
That's right. But I felt bad, so I thought we should let Ryan finish his list of the top worst games of last year. Go for it.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to allow me to.
I'm a magnanimous host. What can I say?
Yeah. So for those of you who do not remember how I was going over my 5 worst games, and it's kind of like my top 10. It could include any game that, whether it came out in 2016 or not, it was just a game that I played for the first time. Number 5 was Psychonauts. I said I would be crucified for it, even though we don't have any of you listeners right now. If we did, I'd be crucified for it because it was a very beloved game of its time, but it didn't age as well. And then both The Walking Dead Michonne and Minecraft Story Mode Telltale games rounded out to 3 and 4 there. Just not very good renditions of Telltale games. Number 2 worst game was Star Fox Zero. What could I say about this game? Like, it takes a very simple formula to make a Star Fox game work and work well. It's something they mastered back in 1996 in
Yeah,
Star
you just
Fox
gotta
64.
use a boost to get through, right?
Yep, do barrel rolls.
Right.
But they screw that formula up. How familiar are either of you with the way the game controls?
I didn't play it, so I don't know anything about it.
Nick, anything?
I'm familiar.
So it's a Wii U game, and you have the Wii U gamepad, which is a first-person view inside the cockpit of your R-Wing. And then on the TV, it has the third person view. It looks very similar to like Star Fox 64, the way it looks. But the cursor on the TV, it does not line up with where you shoot. It only gives you like the first 2 squares or so, I guess I would say, something to that effect, of where your aiming is going to go. But you cannot accurately aim on the TV. To do that, you have to look down on the Wii U gamepad and in first person mode to do your aiming. So you're constantly going up and down, up and down, up and down, looking at the TV to fly the ship, since you can't really see in first person view, and then looking down on to actually do any manual aiming on the game itself. And then they added some like gyro controls, which again don't work well because you have to constantly hit this like reset button to reset your alignment so you could start moving the controller to steer the ship, and it was a nightmare. It was terrible. Just like Star Fox 64, it's one of those games that you play it through and beat it in a couple hours, but then you play it through again, go through alternate paths. But then after I beat it the first time, I was just like, nope, I'm done, not doing this anymore, which is unfortunate because they haven't made a Star Fox game in several years, and then they make this one.
That sounds rough.
It was very rough.
Yeah, like I think my first ever big disappointment in that whole realm of Star Fox everything is the DS one, and I think that was like the start of it because you had to like use the stylus to move around the R-Wing.
Yep.
And ever since then, there's always some gimmick or like just make a Star Fox game. Come on.
Like again, it's not that hard. Just copy and paste Star Fox 64, but with better graphics, you win.
So this might end up leading us down a huge rabbit hole about Nintendo in general, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So like, I'm constantly thinking about and like reading these news announcements from Nintendo and seeing things they've tried, like, oh, use the stylus on the 3DS to swing Link's sword, which was awful, or like hardware specs on the Switch has been the newest thing that people have been complaining about. Do you think it's just like a huge culture divide between what is just expected and normal in Japan, or is this something that like they're just not listening to their fans, or like what do you guys think's going on here?
Personally, I think it's a little bit of both because you have Sony, on the other hand, who comes from the same quote unquote culture, Japanese culture, and they seem
True.
to be doing everything right with the PlayStation 4 this generation. But I think it's Nintendo's culture that around the time of the GameCube, they decided that, like, look, we're not really going to compete with Xbox or just Microsoft and Sony on the core gamer platform. So we need to do something different, to kind of be along those lines. And then, their first attempts at both of those were the DS and the Wii, which are Nintendo's 2 most popular systems. So
Right.
it worked, and it worked well for them. And so I think they kind of just made that their business model. And when it works really, really well. I generally really, really like the Wii U, actually a lot more than I ever liked the Wii. Um, Like, I think all the Zelda games that have been on Wii U, all 2 of them that are just remakes of GameCube games, are the best way to control Zelda. You control the Zelda game, control Link in the Zelda game. I know that Zelda's not Link. Because you have the dual joystick controls like a normal gaming game, but then you have the touchscreen, which are just easy just to tap on something or like to equip an item, rather than if you've ever played a Zelda game, you know, to push start, go to the menu, equip this item to this C button or whatever, and then go out of the menu. It's, you know, that was a little bit slow and sluggish, especially not Ocarina of Time, like taking the Iron Boots off and on again in the Water Temple. But same thing on the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time. They just made a toggle button. You just touch the touchscreen and you toggle them off and on again. And so adding that extra layer on both the 3DS and the Wii U, it added a greater way to play the Zelda games. But then you have the 2 Zelda games on the DS, Phantom Hourglass and the train one. I can't even remember, Spirit Tracks. And they just controlled horribly because you just made Link follow your stylus on the touchscreen and you tapped enemies to kill them. Yay, yeah. You know. So it just depends, I guess, on what Nintendo feels like doing.
Yeah.
It's very hit or miss, in my opinion.
Like, I wonder if part of it is just like they don't have a good QR team that is able to go back and be like, no, this doesn't work. Like, you need to redo this. It's like they're just like, oh, we have this experimental idea. Let's release it and see what people think.
It might also be kind of that George Lucas effect. You know, a lot of people say a lot of the bad things in the prequels were just because everyone was a yes man to George Lucas and didn't ever question George Lucas's decisions.
Yeah.
And so if someone like Shigeru Miyamoto is making that call in Star Fox, which it was his call, who's going to tell him no? You know, basically.
Apparently all of his fans.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Interesting side topic.
Nick, do you have anything to say on that?
Nintendo's always been like a really proud company, and they just do what they want. My favorite system was probably GameCube. After that, it's just as soon as the motion controls came, it just got into this, you know, that artificial little that Connect and the PlayStation Move, when everyone just needed a motion control, and now motion controls are dead. Freaking Xbox Ones don't come with Kinects anymore, right?
Nope.
And it's like, okay, I guess it was a mistake after all. So games don't have to have some kind of motion sensing feature anymore. Or is that what I'm understanding?
Well, I mean, right now they moved to VR, and that's, you know,
also going to die in a few
right.
years.
I mean, yeah, I think it's that way too.
I played the Oculus at a GameStop, and I picked 3 games. And the last one was this awesome music one, and I could just see myself just getting addicted to it because it was so fun, and I was doing so good.
I don't see it.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I could see it like having fun little experiences like that, you know, just like the Wii or motion controls and stuff like that. But once the novelty of that wears off, you know, where's your core games to keep people in these devices, so to speak, for a long time, you know, as long as they spend on their gaming consoles or gaming on their PCs with non-VR games. I think that's going to be the big test.
And not only that, it's developing for it too. Like, you got to get developers to want to not waste, but to invest time and money into these things and to make games for them. Because right now you have just a lot of overblown tech demos for the most part.
And the entry price is so high to get in. You know, you need a robust gaming PC plus a $600-$700 device.
Like, the average person is budgeting in, you know, like the Nintendo Switch or the next Xbox One or the next PlayStation type, like that type of, you know, $200 to $400, $500. Like, they're not going to take an experimental risk on an $800 gaming machine that may or may not last more than 2 years.
Literally like an $800 monitor, because it can't even run games on its own.
Yeah, it's a monitor you strap into your face, and so then you have to have a PC on top of that can perform it and run it. So that's like another $800 to $1,000 on top of it.
And then you have the PlayStation, one. Yeah, the PlayStation VR, which is fine. It has a $300, $400 entry point, and then it costs, I don't remember, $300 or $400 itself, which is much, much lower cost to entry. But people say like it
It's terrible.
really doesn't run well. Like it's passable, is what people say, but
Right. It's
not
a gimmick.
nearly. Yeah. So
Anyway, we've gone from crapping on specific games to crapping on entire subset of games.
God, can we talk about something good?
What, are you done with your worst games of 2016, Ryan?
nope. Still I'm in number one.
What else?
All right, finish us off.
All right, drum roll, please. My worst game of 2016, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, is Mighty Number 9.
Oh, poor game.
I'm a hardcore Mega Man fan, have been since I was very, very, very little. And when the quote unquote creator of Mega Man came out with a Kickstarter and raised several $1 million to basically create another Mega Man game with a different skin, I was very, very excited. I did not back it.
I watched that from the sidelines, and it just looks so depressing.
It's terrible. I mean, like, I'm talking about Star Fox here. How hard is it to screw up a Mega Man game? You run to the side, you shoot little balls at people, little energy balls, and you fight bosses and gain their powers. But like, this game was just so terrible. The level design was terrible. The graphics literally probably going to have been on a PS2. Not even joking. It was not good. Like, I was getting legitimately angry like while I was playing it. Just like angry at myself for buying it, angry at them for making such a crappy game and fooling me, and angry because of the potential they could have had to make another Mega Man game, because Capcom has been sitting on that franchise for many, many years, not doing anything with it, because Capcom is Capcom, and and this is what we had as the result. So screw that game.
Tell me how you really feel.
It's like they make all the money from the image of Mega Man without even having to making a Mega Man video game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something that I've been looking at a lot lately. And like, there's been kind of a surgence of like spiritual successors to classic games that we love. Like, oh, this is the spiritual successor to, I don't know, I'm looking at one recently. It was like Roller Coaster Tycoon, basically, or like City Skylines is the spiritual successor. I don't know that we need them. Like, I mean, is our need for nostalgia that high? I mean, obviously, I love me some good nostalgia, but like, I don't know. It just seems like some of them do okay, and some of them they're just bomb, and like they make money off of the image recognition.
Well, like I said, it's hit or miss still. Like, I loved Cities Skyline. I haven't played a quote unquote SimCity game like that probably since like SimCity 2000.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you just scratched that itch that because any other SimCity game came out, I was just like, and everyone was like, I don't know, kind of crapping on, like, especially like SimCity 4 and things like that. But then when City Skylines came out, and it was just really, really, really great and really, really priced well, I was like, sure, I'll give that a shot. And then I just ended up being lost in it for weeks. And I think some of that was nostalgia boosted, but on top of that, it was just a really, really good game.
Yeah. See, like I'm one who actually didn't hate SimCity all that much. Like the most recent one from EA.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even play it, but that's just what everyone said.
Yeah.
And I think what was City Skyline, was it only like $15 or $20, like brand new?
Yeah, I think so.
And that was a big, bullet point for me, anyways. That
Yeah, it's $30 full price, and then I'm sure it's been on sale a number of times.
Kind of on that same topic, one of my most anticipated games in 2017 is Yooka-Laylee, basically just a new Banjo-Kazooie game.
Oh, really?
Yep. I actually backed this one. It's been the only Kickstarter I've ever backed. One of the reasons why is because they had the game up and running before they even announced the Kickstarter. Like, they just had like a single level, and they had the characters fully animated, and like they showed them the moves and stuff like that, and like it's just Banjo-Kazooie just with a whole new skin. And they're like, "Yeah, this is the game you want to make," and I was like, "Yep, I'm backing this," and I backed it, and it has been 100% on track since its Kickstarter began, and impressing everyone as they've been going. And it's releasing in the first quarter this year, so I'm very, very excited for it. And I hope that it could help me bank on my nostalgia for Banjo-Kazooie, since there hasn't been a real Banjo-Kazooie game since Banjo-Tooie. Not even really a 3D platformer collectathon since Banjo-Tooie, which came out in 2000. But at the same time, I hope it's just a legitimately good game in and of itself.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, are you done venting?
Sure.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah.
Mortal
Screw you,
Kombat
game
10.
number 9.
Ugh.
So, something that I know is going to really excite you. Do you want to talk about the first ever Steam Awards?
No.
Oh. Why not?
They're so dumb. It's just a popularity contest, like the high school prom king and queen.
Oh, did one of your games not win Prom Queen?
I didn't. Did one of my games not win prom king? No.
Yeah,
In fact,
one
a couple
game that you liked. I was going with the prom joke.
The what awards?
The Steam
the
Awards.
Steam Awards.
What, just Steam games?
Yeah, Steam made some categories like a villain most in need of a hug. I thought this game was cool before it won an award, or just 5 more minute award. And the problem with it was that it was, I guess it was not a problem, but it was 100% user voted. And when that happens, they're probably not going to vote on the game that actually matches the category. They're just going to vote on whatever game they like best in that category. For example, best game within a game, Grand Theft Auto 5. I love Grand Theft Auto 5. It's probably my favorite game on those lists of nominees. But let's talk about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. It spawned its own game. They're now making a Gwent standalone game based off the card game inside The Witcher 3. So in what world does Grand Theft Auto 5, again, which is a game I like better than Witcher 3, but does it win that award? People are like, oh, I like Grand Theft Auto 5, and then vote for it. Same thing with Skyrim. It won the Test of Time award. The game's not even, or it's barely 5 years old. How does that even qualify for the Test of Time? They just released a remastered version a few months ago. That's not a test of time. People just went, I like Skyrim, and voted for Skyrim. And then the worst injustice of all is that they had a category that was called Game Most in Need of a Sequel. And of course, what did everybody vote for? Half-Life 3. And so Valve, being that Valve, are like, nope, we're just not going to give this award then, because they're jerks and dumb. So the whole thing is dumb, and people are dumb.
2 new voice actors. Skyrim again.
Yeah. So apparently this is another event issue for me, for Ryan.
Yeah.
Deep breath.
This is just dumb. None of the categories matter. It's like, which of these 5 games do you like the best? Okay, cool. Oh, look, Grand Theft Auto won 5 times. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about the idea of a fan vote versus something like, say, the Game Awards, which is, kind of like a panel of judges for most of their. I know that they had some fan voted awards, but I don't know. I can see the need for both. But yeah, we'll probably just stick with the Game Awards show for me anyway.
Yeah.
Going forward. All righty.
So, my top 10 list, my top 10 games of 2016 is done for those of you who haven't seen it. Have you guys had a chance to check those out yet?
Yes, I have.
What do you guys think of my list?
For anyone listening to this who hasn't been to our website, go to briefnerdity.com and you can see Ryan's lists. I haven't played a lot of the games on your list, and so it made me interested to try them all out.
Especially my number one. Spoiler alert, my number one is Doom. I cannot recommend that game enough. Even for someone like you, Trent, who's not really a shooter fan, it doesn't... I want to say it doesn't feel like a shooter, because it obviously does, but it feels different than any other shooter. It feels just more classic PC arcadey style shooter. And it's a game, I said this in my little notes with it, that it's a game that doesn't take itself seriously, and that's so much fun when it does that. Like sometimes like some plot will come up, like you'll be like walking, like some person will start talking to you on a computer monitor close by. And the guy, in first person, will like grab the computer monitor and like listen to it for like 2 seconds, and this guy's just like droning off exposition. The guy, and then your guy just like punches the monitor, and then it's like nope, and then like just start shooting demons and stuff. So,
Nice.
really,
So-
really good soundtrack as well. Like I don't want to. This is gonna sound like really dumb, but I like start like almost like rocking out, like just going at it and being like, yeah, like while I'm playing and like ripping demons in half and stuff. You just get like so into it. They just did a really, really good job with it. So
you'll be really happy to hear that Doom won the Steam Boom Boom Award this year.
I saw that.
I don't even know what that means.
But again, like it won that over Just Cause 3. I don't think there exists a more boom boom game in the universe, but Just Cause 3.
That game is designed to blow up everything.
Exactly why the Steam Award's so stupid. I love Doom. It was the best game of those 5, but it does not deserve the Boom Boom Award over Just Cause 3.
You've convinced me.
So, but yeah, Doom's number 1. Definitely play it. Titanfall is on the list. The 2 biggest question marks on there were Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, both of which I played this year for the first time, and I loved both of them. So definitely check those out if you have a PlayStation, because they are masterpieces. They should have won the Steam Award for Test of Time, because they came out in 2001 and 2005,
but they're not on Steam.
I know.
It's a sad day.
They stood the test of time better than Skyrim did.
So much anger.
Yeah.
Okay, so something that I wanted to talk about a little bit this year is what I'm calling my nerdy New Year's resolutions.
If you don't mind pausing for just 1 second before we get into the resolutions, I wanted to just throw a quick pitch in for the Doom documentary that's on YouTube. It's done by NoClip. Many of you may have heard of this already. It is really, really well done. Do what?
Where do you watch it?
On YouTube.
Okay.
Just search for NoClip Doom documentary. It's really, really well done on the making of this new Doom game, starting from its very, very the twinkle in the creator's eye, so to speak, and what was originally going to be Doom 4, and then they show footage of it. It's just going to be a very, very generic Call of Duty-esque shooter, and they ended up pretty much scrapping the whole thing and just making this Doom game. And so it's a really interesting documentary on how they create it, and they go into everything from the intense gameplay to the fantastic soundtrack, to everything like that. So again, whether you play shooters or like Doom or not, I highly recommend just watching that documentary. It's really, really, really good.
So is it the Doom Resurrected
series?
Because it looks like there's more than one of them.
Yep, it's 3 parts. I think they're like 15, 20 minutes each. I think the whole thing ends up being 45 minutes or so total.
Nice. It looks very interesting. I'm going to add that to my list.
Do it.
Speaking of lists.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you like that segue? That was
good.
I'm a huge list person in general. And I have a list of shows that I want to watch. I have a list of games, a list of TV shows, movies, books. Some of them are literally like the wish list on Steam or Origin, things like that, where there's like a physical list. Some of them are just like in a Google Doc or something. And I've come to the realization that if I want to even get through just a portion of the games and shows and movies that I want to get to, I need to start like setting some goals. So I'm calling them my nerdy New Year's resolutions. And I was wondering if you guys have had any thoughts about like goals that you want to set in terms of movies, TV shows, books, games, things of that nature. Then I'll tell you mine.
I stay pretty well on top of my queue, at least as far as movies and shows goes. Games a little bit more difficult, but it's why I'm a quote-unquote budget gamer, is because my queue is usually so long that I'm okay waiting until a game's on sale for $20-30 before I'm ready to go ahead and buy it and play it. But as far as a goal I have for for 2017. As you know, for my top 10 list, I played Bloodborne for the first time this year. It was my first quote unquote Souls game, and I really, really, really loved it. And so I decided to go back and play the first quote unquote Souls game, which was Demon Souls on the PlayStation 3.
Mhm.
So now that I have those two Souls games under my belt, I want to tackle the Dark Souls trilogy, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Because they're such great games, but the reason why I guess is a goal to complete all three of them is because they're very challenging games, but a reason why it's a goal for me is that they're very, very intense games. Like I played Bloodborne at the beginning of the year, and then like when I was finished with them, like okay, I'm kind of done with that for a little while. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the experience, but it's such an intense and thrilling experience that, at least for me anyways, like I'm kind of like, okay, I need to take a break from this genre and play like a walking simulator indie game, like Firewatch, something like that, just to kind of cleanse the palate, I guess, because the game is just, for me, constantly stressful in a good, fun way. And so for me to, I guess, say that I'm going to beat all three Souls games this year, spacing them out and making sure I beat them all is a goal of mine, I guess I would say.
That's pretty cool. How about you, Nick?
Some goals. I want to play some more games, and I was just saying, dang it. Oh, revisit some old movies. Like I'm watching All of the Aliens right now before Covenant, and just seeing just how they've kind of evolved over the years, and just give myself an idea of what direction they want to go with Covenant. So just
Nice.
we got a lot of old movies, even some old games.
You just built yourself a PC as well, right?
Yeah, I got a new PC.
Nice.
So also, yeah.
So you get into like the gaming side of that as well?
Yes, but I'm actually looking at just looking at a lot of indie games. My friend sent me this game, Magica and Papers, Please. And I played Papers, Please before, and I liked it.
I love Papers, Please.
I love that game so much.
My girlfriend walked in on me playing that. And she's like, "What are you playing?" And I kind of explained the concept to her, and she's like, "So, like, you're just doing a job for a game?" I'm like, "Yep, it's awesome."
So I'm keeping people out of the motherland.
And just playing just different games. There was this other game. Man, I forgot the name. I think it was called Into the Woods or something.
That's the name of a movie and a play.
Into the
Something. Anyway, you play as a kitty cat, and it's a 2D side scroller, and it just I thought it looked really cute.
Nice.
So I'll check that one out.
Very cool. So a couple of the thing that spawned this whole idea for me was looking at my Audible library first off, and the fact that I'm like right now I'm on the 2 credit a month plan, and I'm not reading 2 books a month. So I need to cut back my subscription or actually make use of all these free books that I'm getting. And they're not free. But the other thing is I really want to. So we're going to. I think all 3 of us are going to the Star Wars Celebration convention in Orlando in April. Are you guys both going? I know Ryan is.
I am going. I am Ryan.
Are you going? Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nick, you said you were going, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So one of the things I've been trying to do for a while is catch up on the new Star Wars canon. And so all the comics, the books, the TV shows, and everything. And so Ryan and I have been watching through the Clone Wars stuff, and so I'm trying to catch up on all Star Wars canon before April. So that is my new goal. I tried it with Force Awakens last year, and it didn't quite work. I blame Twilight Company for that, which I'm almost done with. So yeah, I'm trying to read so many books a month. Catch up on all the shows, and I have like these. It's all very nerdy and list and structure based and all that jazz.
Well, good. I hope you do it because I could have someone to talk about all the new Star Wars canon stuff with because I don't have anybody who's as big a Star Wars fan as I am.
I know, and
Who reads all the comics and books and everything. So
I'm so worried about I had to avoid the Star Wars Rebels panel in 2015 for the last one we went to, and I don't want to do that again. So
yeah, I definitely want to be there for the panel this year.
yeah.
I might just ditch you and be like, I'm still going. See ya.
Well, no, you went without me last time too.
No, I didn't. I remember
thought
I was going. No, I was going to, but then there was ended up being like another panel, and so I decided to wait in line with you for the other panel versus ditching you and then meeting back up with you in line.
You should have ditched me. It's fine.
That's okay. I watched it online later.
There you go. So that's kind of an exciting thing.
We're almost done with season 5 of Clone Wars. What do you think so far?
Oh my gosh. So obviously spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen what was like 3 or 4 years ago or more at this point.
Yeah, it was 2012. So unless
There you
Nick, do you
go.
care about Clone Wars spoilers?
I do not.
Okay.
Sweet. So the Darth Maul arc was amazing. Him like Obi-Wan fighting him and Savage with the dual lightsabers was like just incredible nerdgasm moment, and yeah, I'm really really enjoying it.
I just realized what arc we're gonna watch later, or what arc is next, and I'm very very excited for you again.
Well, that'll be later tonight, so I'm
Yep.
excited.
So
Other than that,
good goal.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you have a good goal. I like it. It's
Yes,
tough, and there's a lot of content because literally new Star Wars comics come out every week. So
Yes, I know. I'm trying to read like a comic a day, so I started this a couple days ago. So I'll be done with the Darth Maul comic, the Son of Dathomir one here soon.
you've already read a couple into it.
No.
Oh, okay.
I have them downloaded and started. I started the first one today.
Okay.
I'll finish it later tonight.
Cool.
So yeah, let's see. What else do we want to talk about?
Well, it's a new year. Let's talk about what's coming in 2017. Lots of good stuff.
You sent me a link to a list of movies, and there are a ton of movies this year that are coming out that I want to see.
What'd you call it, Nick? Like sequel and reboot city, or something like that?
What did I say?
I don't remember.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Star Wars is probably my most anticipated movie. Surprise,
Me
surprise.
too. It probably will be for the rest of time.
Right? Assuming they keep making them every year. Aside from that obvious one, I'm really excited in the Kingsman sequel.
I freaking love the first Kingsman.
It was so good.
I didn't realize how good it was going to be because the trailers just made it seem to be just kind of generic. But when I ended up seeing it, I ended up really loving it. Did you see it, Nick?
What was it called again?
Kingsman.
I did not.
You need to put that on your short list to watch.
Yeah, you need to go watch it immediately.
The Kingsman?
Yeah.
Yes. It's got Colin Firth, the first one, and
Mark Hamill.
It does have Mark Hamill. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson. It's kind of like a little mini Star Wars reunion.
There you
go. Yeah, it's you think that it's going to be a generic like James Bond ripoff, but then it goes its own really fun, crazy direction, and it's phenomenal television or movie.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
The new Blade Runner is coming out. Nick, I know you're a huge Blade Runner fan. What do you think of this new one?
Still processing.
All right.
I'm not sure.
So
I haven't gotten a lot from the trailer. Like, I could tell you a dozen different things of what drew me to Blade Runner, the first one, but from this one so far.
So how many movies have there been?
Just 2 now.
So it's just the first one and now this one.
Yeah. And this is the first. I mean, there's like 4 books. It's based off a book series.
Okay.
And I don't know if this Blade Runner 2049 is going to be following the books or if it's just its own thing. But I mean, I'm happy there's a sequel. I hope people will watch the original Blade Runner and not just go into it blind. But
Well, kind of on that note, you showed me Blade Runner for the first time many, many, many years ago, and I didn't really think too highly of it. But I want to watch it again to kind of give it another shot. Out of the many, 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 many different cuts of the movie, which one do I need to look out for and watch, in your opinion, to give me the best version of Blade Runner? Because Trent, I don't know if you know, but there's literally like 10 different cuts of the movie that exist on different Blu-ray releases and stuff like that. Like I think the Blu-ray release literally has like 6 or 7 cuts on the single Blu-ray release. You know, like the director's cut, this cut, you know, whatever. So
it's had a rough history. Watch the theatrical cut.
Really, just OG?
Yeah, just go for that. See what you think, because I haven't even watched that one fully. So maybe Harrison Ford's bland narration will make you like it more.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying give you one that I think I like, but give me the one that you think is the best or you think is the most popular amongst people.
I'd say watch the director, the final cut.
Final cut?
Yeah, but that's the one you saw last time, and
well, I'm a new person now, so
is it Final Cut Pro?
Brand new, Ryan.
Your jokes are bad. You should feel bad.
My jokes are amazing. You don't understand. So what movie you been looking forward to, Ryan?
Oh, obviously Star Wars. Outside of that, my number one is probably gonna be there's so many. Gosh, there's so many movies.
Transformers last night.
Yeah. No. It's either gonna be between Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, or Thor. I mean, geez, like all 3 Marvel movies this year are probably gonna be so good because Guardians of the Galaxy, they struck gold with the first one. It was such a fantastic adventure, and I'm sure the second one's going to be even better. Spider-Man, I'm so happy. I mean, Trent and I have been talking about this for years. I'm so happy that it's quote unquote back with Marvel, and even though it's still technically Sony doing this movie, it's all under Marvel's direction, so to speak. And I love where this direction that it's going in. And so I'm so excited for Spider-Man to be part of the Marvel Universe and see his first outing in the Marvel Universe. And then Thor Ragnarok, I know Thor's been kind of bit hit or miss, but the fact that it's basically going to be a Thor and Hulk movie, they just can't make a standalone. Well, they can make a standalone Hulk movie, but Universal owns the rights to standalone Hulk movies. And so you'd have to be done by Universal. And so to kind of get around that, they're basically making a Planet Hulk movie inside of a Thor movie. And Planet Hulk is one of the better Hulk storylines in the comics. So the fact that they're taking Planet Hulk and then Thor Ragnarok and those storylines and then pushing them together, and this is probably going to be the movie that leads into Infinity War. And so there's just going to be so many good things going on there. So I know I'm not original. I just named all 3 Marvel movies as my second to Star Wars, but
this is some crazy build up to Infinity War, and they need to. This is a big year for them. Like, if Guardians isn't as good as Guardians 1, then that might set the path up for how Infinity War is going to be. Because this has been going on forever. Like, Iron Man 1 is when they started doing, like, that whole Avengers initiative, and it's just been going on for so long.
Yeah, it'll be 10 years when Infinity War comes out.
Like, this story better be worth it. I can go and read Infinity War right now online, and I've already read it.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, one of the things in terms of upcoming movies for next year that I'm surprise that I'm excited about is the new Mummy movie. Have you guys seen the
I
previews
am
for that?
not excited for that.
Okay, putting
I saw
aside your dislike for Tom Cruise, which is
I love Tom Cruise, so I don't know
no,
what you're talking about.
never mind. I just assumed because I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, so I just assume that's what everybody.
he's an alright actor.
He's in a lot of good movies. He's a weird guy, but I don't think I've ever seen a Tom Cruise movie I didn't like, so to
So
speak.
why are you not excited about the Mummy?
Well, even though I said I've never seen a Tom Cruise movie I didn't like, I don't think it was necessarily Tom Cruise that made the movie good, but I feel that it's kind of too soon for a reboot um, for the Mummy, I guess. And that being that, this is also the start of Universal's monster
Yes,
movie cinematic universe, which I'm like, I
that's what actually is exciting me about it.
I
I
don't
just
know.
heard this
I
the other
don't know.
day. I was reading an article on The Verge. Um, so they're starting with the Mummy, and they have plans for like the movies that are already in the works are. I had a list here. Where is it? So it's going to be like movies like The Wolf Man, The Invisible Man, Van Helsing, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Bride of Frankenstein are all already in the planning stages. Russell Crowe is apparently going to be a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde crossover who's going to be in a lot of the different movies. I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of excited about it. I think it has a really good possibility to it. I'm a huge fan of series and interconnected movies. That's why I've loved the Marvel movies so much. Is that I like the continued universe.
And I think that's a good idea for franchises that deserve it. And I'm not saying that this one doesn't, but Marvel, I guess it tried something new and was cautious and it ended up being successful and now it's a runaway success. But then you have the other side of the coin, DC just trying to artificially create the same success with their own franchise right now and doing terribly at it. And so I feel that all
They are
these
making
different all
money.
these what
They are making money.
yeah, but people hate them except for you, Nick. Um, it just but they feel so contrived and just so like, oh, me too, we're gonna make all of our movies connect, and then you hear about Transformers and gonna start connecting with other Hasbro properties to create their cinematic universe, and then you have Godzilla and King Kong and they're gonna make a monster movie cinematic universe, and this it's getting to the point where it's too much and everyone's just trying to emulate Marvel's success. And unless they do it right, which they very well can with the Mummy, I'm not saying they won't, but I feel that if everyone just starts trying to force their way into this cinematic universe thing 10 years after Marvel did it, I think the fatigue may already begin to set in. And if they
Eh,
don't do it right, it just won't be good.
well, I mean, if anything you don't do right isn't going to be good. Um,
I guess
but
Marvel just did it more of a slow burn, versus
well, I mean,
DC. And
we only have really the two examples so far. We
yeah,
have, in my opinion, a fairly good example and a fairly okay example. Um, I mean, I don't hate the DC movies. I haven't seen Suicide Squad, so that's open for amendment. But um, I don't know. I choose to see it as a glass half full that it could be really 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 great.
I guess I just wish that the Mummy would be a success, and then they're like, okay, well, let's go from there. I guess like the first Iron Man, like they threw in that Avengers Easter egg, but they had zero plans to make an Avengers movie at that point. They just threw out Iron Man and Incredible Hulk and had Tony Stark show up and just to gauge audience response, and it was overwhelmingly positive. And so they're like, okay, well, let's make Captain America and Thor, and then people like loved that, and so like, okay, let's make Avengers, and then that became the number 3 movie of all time at the time.
Well,
And so,
sure, but
but I don't know. I guess just like we're gonna make a cinematic universe, and we're gonna make this and this and this, and Russell Crowe's gonna be Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. It's just like, why don't you like? I don't know. It's the same thing. Like I think with through Avatar, we're making 4 sequels to Avatar. There's gonna be Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, all coming out one year after another. starting in 2020. You know, it's just like,
Yeah, well, I
just
mean,
make Avatar 2, you know, and see where that goes. You know, I don't know. Like,
well, I don't think this is that, but also the Avatar people are a bit insane. I mean, I think you look at something like Marvel and you say, like, look, this is something like they pioneered, for lack of a better term, and it worked. And other studios are looking at it. I mean, obviously they're saying, like, can we do this? The answer is yes. I mean, everybody can do it if they do it right. But it's already been pioneered. That's like saying, like, when the first superhero movies came out and, like, Spider-Man showed up after X-Men, and it was like, oh, it's just another superhero movie on the bandwagon, and then Spider-Man ended up being incredible. Like, I don't know. I think it could be great.
and it could be. I'm not saying it's not. It's just like,
Besides, if they had just done, like, just the Mummy movie without talking about the idea of an extended universe, it would have been exactly everybody saying what your first comment was, which was, oh, it's just a Mummy reboot already, really? Even though
yeah,
the last good Mummy movie was Mummy 2, or Mummy Returns, whatever that one was, and that was when? I'm looking
I
it up.
want to say early 2000s,
2000,
like
yeah, 2001.
2003. Yeah,
I don't count the third one because Rachel Weisz wasn't in it,
I
and
never even saw the third one, to be honest.
hashtag not my Evie. But
I am a librarian.
she's amazing, and they should not have recast her. Anyway, uh, yeah, I think, I mean, we've had movies rebooted quicker, and this isn't really the same. It's kind of going in a completely different direction, so I'm excited.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not. I mean, I'm not even saying it's gonna be bad. I just kind of groan at it, and I'll wait for reviews. And if reviews say it's good, I'll be like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But if
Yeah.
you say it's bad, I'll just continue to groan at it, and then
Well, I
watch it
will.
when it comes on video.
Universal's a good company. You should watch The Mummy.
Disclaimer: Nick works for Universal.
What?
Spoilers.
I think Tom
Spoilers.
Cruise is cool.
I think he's strange.
He's a little weird, but
He does make good movies. I'll give him that. Like, I liked Oblivion. That was a great movie. I think this is the last one I saw of his.
I like the one where he kept dying.
I
Day After
kind of
Tomorrow.
want to see that.
What was that one called? That one
Day
was really good. It was really fun.
That's
Like,
not Day After Tomorrow. They renamed it to Live, Die, Repeat, but I'm trying to think what the original title was. Edge of Tomorrow.
yeah, it's just like watching a video game, but it's really fun. If you
It's
guys
a really
haven't
good
watched
movie.
it.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's really good.
He
Oblivion.
dies so many ways.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day when Bill Murray just starts killing himself in a bunch of different ways. That just or that. Did you ever see that Supernatural episode, Trent?
Do you remember what season it was in?
I don't. There's 12 seasons. They all blend together. But it was an episode where Dean gets cursed to where he dies every single day.
Oh, I do remember that one. Like
And
like a piano falls on his head or something at
yeah,
some
like a
point.
piano falls on him, and at one point
Yeah.
she's like, "This burrito tastes funny to you," and then just shows him waking up in the morning again.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's like that at one moment where he just dies in so many different ways. But
So anyway, it's been a bit over an hour. We should probably come and to a close and wrap things up. Is there anything you guys want to touch on that can't wait till next week?
I was just gonna say for the whole most anticipated movies, all that I can really just go back on and I'm hoping does well is Ghost in the Shell. I think there's a lot behind Ghost in the Shell right now because it's like the first or just a go at like another anime, and usually live adaptations of anime don't do very well and suck. So Ghost in the Shell is going to be a test of like if we see some more um, anime adaptations for like American audiences. Like I would love to see a feature length Akira movie, Akira movie one day if Ghost in the Shell does well. So
I personally, I mean, I don't think it's going to do super well because both the fans of the anime are mad at it, and then I think general audiences aren't going to be really receptive to it.
I just want it to look cool.
Are they mad about the casting?
Yeah, whitewashing. Also, I changed my answer. The Lego Batman movie is probably my most hyped movie of next year. I forgot that's coming out like just next month.
First try.
First try. But no, just kind of wrap things up. I don't want to say can't wait till next week, but Trent, I know you saw Assassin's Creed this week, and I want to get your fresh and raw feeling of it. To hear Trent's opinion on the new Assassin's Creed movie, stay tuned next week.
So bad.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right.
Podcast.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll chat at you next week.
See ya.
Goodbye.